sports before, whether it be high school, college, even pro. When do you feel like when what makes you feel guilty about taking off? What makes you feel guilty about rest days? Do you feel guilty every time you take a rest day? Do you feel like you're not doing enough? Do you feel like your body recovers quick enough that you don't need rest days? Do you feel like you're losing out on potential progress stemming from the fact that you're used to practicing and training every single day in the past? How does that affect you? Or if you're not a former athlete, but you've made some progress in a transformation, are you now to a point where you feel like you can't take days off because you're going to undo all of your progress? Well, put your questions, comments, and opinions in the comment box for me. I want to see what everybody thinks about this because we're going to talk about how we deal with the guilt of taking days off. All right. So I had someone write in and they have a situation that they're dealing with as far as recovery days and rest days. So Erin wrote in, she's 35 years old. She is a former college soccer player. Okay. So she played soccer all of her life. She went to college to play soccer. She graduated from a prestigious university, but soccer was her main thing. So as an adult, of course, obviously she moved on, but she still works out 6 to 7 days a week. So what she has noticed is that over the years, she'll get super burnt out and she'll feel lethargic for a week or two, right? She won't be sleeping well at night. And then she has these nagging injuries that don't seem to want to go away. So she keeps pushing through because that's what you're supposed to do when you're an athlete, right? So her husband has been telling her it's time for you to start taking some breaks. You need to build in some recovery into your routine. And she refused to do it because she just feels as though she's going to lose all the progress that she made and or she's going to backslide. And at her age, being 35, she doesn't want to be one of those women who are severely out of shape or obese in their 40s, right? So she's really just trying to stay healthy and stay ahead of the curve. But her question is she overdoing it right now? Should she start taking rest or recovery days? How does she deal with the mental guilt of taking days off, feeling like she's lazy or that she's not going hard enough? How does she deal with that? As a former athlete, is it always going to be like this? And is she always going to feel this way? So those are the questions that she had. That was a submission that she sent in to me. Now, she sent that submission by way of email, coachmark22@gmail.com. That is Coach Mark with a C, 22@gmail.com. If you have a submission like that, you have a story with some details, be as detailed as possible, and I can keep you anonymous, but I will bring it up on a live and talk about it with the rest of the subscribers, and we will give you some opinions and some advice on how to deal with the situation. All right. So if you did not know, I am your guy, Coach Mark. This is Lunchtime Logic. That is why I have lunch, guys, because we all should be eating at this time of day. I think it's healthiest for us to eat when the sun is at its highest point, right? So that's my opinion, right? I've seen that work well for a lot of clients and people that have trained beside me. But even if you don't, right? Normally people take a break for lunch. So we come in here and we discuss people's issues that they're having throughout their health and fitness journey. And hopefully we can educate ourselves as we give advice to others and give support to others in what they're going through. And a lot of times, guys, our struggles with health and fitness or our transformation journey, a lot of times have nothing to do with the gym. A lot of times they have to do with family, friends, parenting, right? Co-workers, things like that, schedules. So we talk about all those things and we try to get some advice to the masses so that we can deal with what is coming our way. Because if you haven't dealt with a problem like this, it could probably come your way. All right. So today, guys, half a cup of peas, half a cup of black beans, 5 ounces of chicken, 5 ounces of swordfish. How about that? A little swordfish fillet, and a 3-ounce can of tuna. All right. Now you guys will hear me say tuna or canned salmon a lot. I add those to my bowls mainly for the protein content. I'm just going to be honest with you, right? Good lean sources of protein. Horrible to eat by themselves. So if you add them to a bowl, you can mask it with whatever else is in the bowl and whatever toppings you put on. I use no sugar sriracha, and I also use no sugar barbecue sauce. So 0 sugar barbecue sauce. It was a little hard at first, guys. I got to be honest with you. But you get used to it. You get used to the taste or lack thereof, right? But when we don't have sugar added to these sauces and these condiments, guys, things change. Now, there will be people that will say, oh, Mark, there's other ingredients in the condiments that could be damaging as well. That's very true. But we know for most of us, sugar is our biggest culprit. And sometimes we just got to knock that one out the box and see if we can make some changes before we start worrying about the other ingredients, right? So that is what's on deck for lunch today. Now, Miss Erin, a 35-year-old former soccer player, okay? She played soccer all of her life. So when you're an athlete, guys, you get used to at a very young age training, right? There's some of you that come to me and you want to transform your life, you never played sports. So as a child, you might have played outside, but you didn't play an organized sport daily or monthly or weekly for years. So Erin has been playing soccer since she was a child. She got very used to training, okay? She got very used to sacrificing her time. She got very used to having to hustle when she didn't want to. She has to go outside when it's hot. She has to go outside when it's a little chilly. She has to play outside when it's cold. She had to develop a don't quit mindset. Now, most sports have their challenges, right? But if we're talking about soccer in particular, soccer, you have to have an immense amount of endurance, immense amount of leg strength and coordination, okay? Amongst other things, guys. But if you ever watch a soccer match, you'll see how much running is involved, okay? And they make it look easy, but it is not. So there's a lot of training that's involved. A lot of proper nutrition that was probably involved in her youth. A lot of days that she didn't have it, and she still went out there and did it. So that shaped her into the woman that she is today. So how she approaches her workouts is the same way she approached that sport. So then to be clear that she then played college played college. She played soccer in college. And guys, I think that we underestimate the level of ability, first of all, that you have to possess to play a college sport at any level. We like to say certain levels, oh, she played D3 or they played D2. Guys, most of us are not good enough to play any college sports, okay? So not only did she have to have an immense amount of ability, but mentally she had to become a different person, right? Because at 17, 18 years old, now you're away from home and you're having to focus on this sport and your schoolwork. Now, why does that matter? That matters because she had to further develop this do not quit attitude, this mindset that no matter what's going on, I'm going to get out here and get it done today. Because I'm sure that her place on the team and or her scholarship depended on it. So many of us who went to college, we could skip class when we wanted to, right? We could party the night before classes and just take a day off. She probably was not allowed to do that. I'd say normally by the time you are 25, you start to really become who you are, right? If you've been doing something from the age of 5 or 10 to 25, that pretty much is who you are, okay? Now you can stray from it, but most likely you're going to come back to it. So by the age of 25, she probably would have graduated by that time. She became someone who diligently works on her health and fitness every single day. Every single day. So she didn't get to where she got by taking days off. Just is what it is. She didn't. She never had that 5-year period of time where she wasn't working out at all, or she wasn't eating right, or she just did whatever she wanted to, and she was lethargic or sedentary. She didn't have that time period. So she gets married. She didn't say anything about having children, but she at least has a husband, And so she lives a normal life like most of us, right? We have some type of career. We try to take care of our health and fitness. We have a partner we enjoy life with. But she is an athlete slash former athlete. I like to say they are athletes who no longer play the sport, because she's still very athletic, I'm sure. Okay? You don't stop being an athlete just because you go out the game. Okay? Well, she doesn't know any different. The difference is that as time goes on, the body does go through periods of wear and tear. Okay? The human body can do some amazing things. Let's be clear about that. But we have to take it to the shop just like we do a car, right? And if we don't, things will start to break down, right? For a lot of us, even when we do take our cars to the mechanic, things start to break down. So she's starting to see extreme fatigue, being super tired at the end of a cycle, maybe at the end of a week. She's really, really tired, but she's also not sleeping well. And she's just seeming exhausted, but she continues to push through. She's also seeing nagging injuries. It seems like she might tweak something, and it sticks around for a long time. And it should be gone quickly, okay? But this is the thing, Aaron. You're probably used to recovering very, very quickly because you were following, when you played soccer, you were following a proper regimen, right? Like a proper recovery regimen. The stretches were different. The periods of stretching was different, right? You're in college. That means you guys had a training room. So if something's wrong, you go get it checked out immediately. Now, when something's wrong, you just try to fight through. Also, youth plays a part. Youth plays a part. I'm not someone that's going to tell you you can only have energy and you can only jump high and you can only run fast when you're young. I don't believe in that. But I do believe that we do cause some wear and tear over the years, and it's hard for us to expect to be at the same level that we were and stay there for a very, very long time. Now, do you have to decline? I'm not saying you have to decline, but you're no longer playing soccer. So this is obviously, you're not playing soccer for your workouts. You're lifting weights, you're doing HIIT training, you might cycle, right? You might climb mountain, but most likely you're not playing soccer every day. So you developed a body that could handle rigorous activity back then. And so you pushed it and you pushed it and you pushed it and you pushed it. And then when you got done with it, when you got done with that sport, yes, you're working out and you're taking care of yourself, but you are no longer going through those activities anymore. So things change, right? And the human body pretty much says, hey, if we're not going to use these muscles in the same fashion that we used to, we don't need to keep developing in them in the same way that we had. That's pretty much what happens. So your body changes. So number one, the nagging injuries, to me, are probably coming from overusage, okay? If we notice in any sport, the older athletes, they take games off. They take practices off. They don't go to the preseason workouts as much. They do work out, but they don't go through the same things the younger guys go through because their bodies have not taken the wear and tear, right? You're expecting your 35-year-old body to perform like your 25-year-old body or 22-year-old body. You have a decade more of wear and tear on it. The nagging injuries are absolutely coming from overusage. Now, that's fine because you probably already knew that. You'll also be very fatigued if your CNS does not get a break, okay? Your central nervous system is not getting a break from this rigorous activity that you're putting it through. So when your brain is sending signals to your spinal cord, right? That is that is signaling your spinal cord to signal the other parts of your body to move, whether it's quick, whether it's slow, whether it's bend deep, whether it's jump up high. The signals are going rapid fire, okay? But our CNS needs a break from time to time. And when that does not happen, we will start to become lethargic. We will not sleep well. We will seem fatigued certain days, and we don't know why. Excuse me, why am I so tired? It seems like I can't get it together. I can't wake up. You also could be energy depleted, right? Because I'm just going to guess that if you're working out this hard, Aaron, you're not overeating. You're not overeating. And what we find in adults over a certain age is that we pretty much we try to eat less and work more. We eat less, we work more. And that is not the recipe for success. If you notice, teenage boys, 15, 16-year-old boy, they eat everything in sight, literally. And some of you would say, Mark, they can do that because they're young. It's not just because they're young, because there are some obese 15 and 16-year-old boys. The main reason why they can consume that much food and not see an increase in body fat is because of their level of activity. Their level of activity. So if you, Aaron, are engaging in a high level of activity, which it sounds like you are, most likely you're undercaloried. And with undercaloried comes undernutriented. I don't know the word for that, but you're dealing with a lack of nutrition, okay? Your body needs a certain amount of nutrients for it to rebuild your muscles and for fuel, amongst other things. Help digestion, right? To help keep your organs working in an efficient fashion. So when we're undercaloried, we normally don't have the nutrients as well. So that affects our recovery. That affects our sleep. Our sleep then affects our recovery. If we haven't recovered well, we're not going to perform well at the gym. So we're going to be pushing harder but feeling worse. So many clients I have that come to me, male, female, old and young, undercaloried. We're not eating enough. We got used to having to scale back on the calories, scale back on the amount of food because we were eating the wrong foods. I think now most of us have figured out a way to learn what types of foods we should be eating. So I would imagine, Aaron, because you're trying to stay in shape and trying to keep your physique together, that you're severely undercaloried and you need to pump it up, okay? Now, I don't know what you weigh and I don't know your height. But if you're at 1,100 calories, if you're at 1,200 calories a day, you're undercaloried. Pretty much you're undercaloried, right? A lot of people like to use the equation, take your body weight times 14 for your maintenance. Everybody's different, so it's hard to use that equation for everybody. But in that case, a 200-pound person will consume 2,800 calories. I believe that is 2,800 calories a day. So just do the math with your weight, and that at least gives you an idea of what you should be around. And guys, it doesn't have to be. She doesn't have to hit 2,800 calories on the dot for it to work, okay? But she can't be at, now this is if she's 200 pounds, of course. But she can't be at 23, and then 22, and then 21, severely undercaloried. And I got news for you, Aaron. If you're super duper active and you are eating nutrient-dense whole foods, you will not run the risk of putting body fat on, because I know that that's what you're worried about. because that's what everyone's worried about. If you've developed a great amount of muscle, the muscle takes those nutrients first. And the muscle keeps our metabolism running very, very quickly. Your body will not store fat unless you're giving it, okay? Unless you're giving your body an excess amount of glucose. Now, there's other methods that could push your body towards storing fat, but that's the main method, okay? But again, you're super active, so normally before that glucose will get stored as fat, your body will use it for energy because you're super active. A lot of people will come on here and tell you to stop being active. That's not going to work for you. That's not going to work for you. I would imagine you need to increase your cal. I'm telling you, I will bet 99% of the time, people are undercaloried when they're dealing with fatigue, nagging injuries, being lethargic, being burnt out, being exhausted, okay? Now, let's talk about sleep for a second. You didn't talk about sleep. Guys, another reason why teenage boys and girls seem to have low body fat, high energy, okay? Great facial structures, little slim necks, is because they sleep. They sleep for no reason. They sleep unapologetically. They sleep during the day. They sleep at night. They sleep all morning. Some of you hate when your teenager sleeps till 12 in the afternoon. You hate it. And one thing they're not going to do is they're not going to get up at 8 o'clock and say, oh, I got stuff to do, and be tired the whole day, right? We do that. Now, Aaron, I understand you might have a tight schedule. But honey, if you're trying to live the life you're trying to live and be shaped the way you want to be shaped and perform the way you want to perform, you are going to have to prioritize your sleep. You're putting your body through rigorous activity, and you've been doing this for years. So if you are not sleeping 7 to 8 hours, and many would say 8 to 9 for a female, because, side note, research has been done to prove that females need a little bit more sleep than males. So if you're going off, some of you gals are going off 6 hours of sleep a day. That is not good enough. Honey, that's not good enough. And I would venture to bet that you're somebody who works out in the morning. So as we're fixing the sleep, we got to realize if we can build in 2 or 3 days of working out in the evening instead, so that we can sleep in. That extra hour and a half, that extra 2 hours, man, wonders. It'll do wonders. It's going to help you more than staying consistent with that workout every day. Now, if consistency was your issue, then I would say stick with it. We'll fix the sleep later. But you're 35, you've been an athlete most of your life. You don't struggle with consistency. You don't. It doesn't matter if you took 4 days off right now. You'll be right back to it on day 5. Right back to it. So your sleep is very, very important, because you'll then start showing up with a full tank. And trust me, most road trips go better when you have a full tank of gas. Okay? Now, as far as feeling guilty on your rest days, what I find to work well for me is just putting more space in between my intense workouts. So I work out in the morning. If I play basketball on a Tuesday morning, it's very rough on my body, okay? Wednesday morning, 24 hours later, I may not be able to really have an intense workout and really get a lot out of it and perform quality reps and really, bring my best self to the table. So I'll wait until the evening that day. Now I'm putting on, instead of me working out at 6 a.m., I'm working out at 6 p.m. That's another 12 hours of rest. Think about that. 36 hours instead of 24. So I think, Aaron, you could probably look at your schedule and adjust it just to give yourself a bigger window. So therefore you don't miss a whole day of training, because it would be hard for you to lay down on a Wednesday night knowing you haven't trained since Tuesday morning. Be very tough for you. And that might just be a different type of workout at home. You might not be able to go out in the evening. So you may need to perform a body weight circuit, right? Go on a short run for 20 minutes. So I understand the psychology behind I need to do something every day. I'm with you on that, Aaron, and I agree. And there's some of us that it's very hard for us to go because basically it's almost 48 hours that you don't work out, right? So you need to take some rest days, right? And since we're talking about that rest day, you can make it a light activity rest day. Walking, hitting the sauna, getting in the whirlpool, jumping in the steam room, right? It could be a day you cold plunge. Take a yoga class, not a power yoga, but just a very, very calm yoga class. Because breathing techniques are also very, very important to aid your recovery. So you need to do something, because you'll go crazy if you don't do something. But you cannot continue to put yourself through these intense workout periods without enough rest. Because obviously, after you've worked out 4 or 5 days in a row, you need a period of 24 to 48 hours where your body is not taxed, where your CNS gets a break. Okay? That's your issue right now. So I would take the rest day. I would perform some moderate to light activity during that day, right? And then if you have to, I would say a moderate workout in the evening. If it has to get a little intense, okay, cool, but at least you've had 36 hours. You have to increase your sleep. I guarantee you your sleep's off. Your sleep is off. And sweetie, I'm sorry. You're 35, you're not 23. We were all 23 at one point, and we could sleep 3 hours and get up and do some wonderful things. We are not that anymore, okay? And you don't need to be, because it's not healthy for a 23-year-old. We were just able to do it, but we shouldn't have been, okay? Increasing the calories, nutrient-dense foods. Your body's probably lacking. It's probably lacking protein intake. It's probably lacking healthy carbs and fats. You're probably lacking fiber, right? All in the mindset of I got to keep the body fat off. But sweetie, the people who you follow, the best athletes in the world, they're not undercaloried. They go undercaloried for about 3 weeks, and they cut down and they lose 5 and 10 pounds or 15, and then they go back to maintenance calories. And those maintenance calories just have to be the macronutrients that fit your lifestyle and allow you to sustain your muscle, your cardiovascular health, all the things, okay? So really check your calories and your nutrients. And if you're not tracking, obviously you know what I'm going to say next, okay? But I think with that, you'll find that through your calorie intake or lack thereof, or calorie surplus, right? Or adding calories on to your intake, I should say. You taking just some longer hourly breaks, not whole days off, but hourly breaks. And then also getting involved with some lighter to moderate activity. And I think you'll see that when you sprinkle some of that in throughout your training week, you'll realize you don't need an intense workout all the time. You don't need an intense workout all the time. When you were training to be a soccer player, yes. But you're not training to be a soccer player, sweetheart. And if you've made it 35 years and you're pretty healthy and you look pretty good, it's a good chance your body's going to stay that way. Your body wants to stay in the form that it's used to. Now, if you were, and you've only been in shape for a year or two, I'd say, okay, yes, we got to be careful because your body wants to go back to what it's used to. That's not the case here. So don't be in fear of your body becoming severely out of shape, or you adding on a ton of body fat or losing a ton of muscle. That's not what your body is used to, okay? But we have to take care of the body. We have to help the body recover. We have to get enough sleep so that the body can reset, recover, replenish. I think that's what you're not doing. And a lot of times, guys, that person next to us, that lays next to us every night, many, many, many times they have the answer. And we have to listen. So you probably need to listen to your husband. Okay? That's from me to you. Now, if you are someone like Aaron who has a situation that they have been debating, that they're questioning, that's been stressing them out, and they're trying to figure out, and you're trying to figure out new ways to find a solution to it so that you can fix this issue, and it has something to do with health and fitness, please feel free to email me at coachmark22@gmail.com. That is coachmark with a C, 22@gmail.com. Also, if you are someone like Aaron and you feel like I need to change up what I'm doing, but I need a coach to help me with that, please click the link in my bio, schedule a free consultation. We'll get on the Zoom, guys, face to face, and just see if we're a good match. See if, if I can help you through your transformation phase, whatever phase you're in. Maybe I can, maybe I can't. But you'll never know if you don't click the link. All right? So do that. Let's get in a free consultation. Let's talk about it a little bit. This is your guy, Coach Mark. This is Lunchtime Logic, and this is Transformation Station, man. I will see you guys tomorrow.